Okay, let's get started.
Ghosts are real. That much I know.
Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is the first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single week. As you can see from the title, today's video is going to be my second Q&A on this channel. To celebrate that we finally hit 4,000 subscribers, I am so grateful. So this is why I decided that I wanted to do a second video. I already did one when I hit 2,000 subscribers. I will be leaving it right here in case that you want to watch that one, since of course the questions that I answered there, they were different. I have right here with me in my notes every single one of the questions that you guys made on both here on YouTube and on my Instagram. They aren't that much, to be honest, but I still, since some of you guys took off your time to make me the question, so I will be answering them. So going very quick, let's get into the video. Now I'm going to start with the questions that were made here on YouTube. I will be putting the question and who made the question here. So the first one is my favorite non-horror film. That my phone case can be the first answer, but it's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now I know that for many this film can be considered horror. I do not consider A Nightmare Before Christmas to be horror. For me it's a dark fantasy, but is essentially the film that made me fall in love with stop motion and Tim Burton's work. Although he is the producer and he is the one that made the story, but he's not the director, it's Henry Selick. But in my mind, when I was a child, the aesthetic of A Nightmare Before Christmas with horror was very similar. So for me, they were attached one to another, and since I am a horror fan ever since I was a little girl, it just became a part of me, to the point that my quinceañera was of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Right here, I have this. I have done stuff in my room. I have even done some cosplays in the past of the film. Is the type of film that everyone who knows me personally knows that I love it. To the point that on my birthday and on Christmas, most likely I will receive at least one thing about the film. At least one thing. Because I just love this film so that much, and it's a huge part of my personality, being honest. Now the second question is, have you made or plan on making any videos in Spanish? I have one video here in Spanish. It's actually the 5th video I ever uploaded on this channel, that is about the history of Halloween. I will not be linking that video since I still have it here on the channel, but I know for a fact that that video is awful. The quality must be so bad that I don't have the strength to go and watch it, and I will not suggest you to do it now. Answering if I will ever do a video in Spanish, I don't really think so. Every single collaboration that I have ever made is in Spanish, that's for sure. I have made some collaborations in the past with my colleagues here in the island. Every single one of them is in Spanish, so if you want to hear me talking in Spanish, or you want to see more of my content but with other content creators, I will be leaving some links on the description box down below so that you can either watch the videos or hear the podcast. That is most of the time what I do. But I don't really think that I will ever do a video in Spanish here, since it's pretty established that my content is in English, even though my first language is in Spanish. Now, the third question is, do you plan on doing more rankings of your personal favorite movies and franchise rankings, slasher, killers, etc.? Yes, I plan to do that, but the thing is that those videos, I use them when I don't have anything else to upload. Being 100% honest, since my main content is doing reviews, when I do not have anything to review, I will either do a filler video that could be a ranking, or maybe a top 10 list or some type of recommendation. But most likely, yeah, we'll do any other of those videos in the future. The next question, this one is a little bit long, and the first one is, which is your favorite Scream movie so far? The first one. I love the franchise. For me, they are all good, but for me, the first one is the best one, and is my ultimate favorite of the franchise, and I don't think that will ever change. The second question is, did you like Smile? Yes, but I didn't love it as much as everyone else. I ended up watching Smile back in February. I didn't saw it when it first came out in September, since I was living on a family trip at the same day that came out in theaters, so I wasn't able to watch it when it first came out. And since I returned it almost a month later, thought that it was too late for me to talk about it, so that's why I brush it off and I decided to not do a review. But I have a review schedule of Smile for my Wednesdays reviews of films that are already out, so I will go more in deep in that video. But so far what I can say is that I didn't hate it, but definitely for me it wouldn't have been on my top 10 of 2022. Now the next question is, were you and your family okay during Hurricane Maria? Now, in case you don't know this, back in 2017, Puerto Rico was hit by a Hurricane Category 5 Maria. That was such an awful experience. It was bad. We were left without any phone service or electricity for months. Thankfully, my family were only without power all the way from September, that it was when the hurricane hit, to November 10. That is a very short amount of time compared to other people that I know. They were without electricity for almost a year. During the question, yes, we were okay. Nothing bad happened to us. Luckily, we were lucky. I know of many people that they weren't. Many people died. It was honestly something that I do not want to experience ever again. But luckily, like I said, we were okay. But definitely, I don't want to remember. I was actually my first year in college. I was a freshman. That made things even worse. Now, another question is, did you like Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Yes, I did. And also, which one is your favorite? I will have to say that maybe the first one or the third one. I will have to sit down and rewatch them all three together in order to have the ultimate favorite. But I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you're a fan, go and watch it in theaters. It's a very good one. And the last question in this one is, can you review Moon Knight? Unfortunately, I do not think I will be reviewing it. I saw the series. I really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, but I don't really see myself reviewing it. Thought about doing it, but then I thought, well, maybe it's not my place for reviewing it, since it's more of superheroes rather than horror, so that's why I didn't do it. But I really like the series, so if you're into Marvel, then go and watch it because it's a very good series. Now, my next question, it's, did you learn a lot of English throughout many English horror films, and what inspired you to learn English is very good? First of all, thank you. I do not think that my English is that good. I have improved, but for me to answer this question, I need to give a little bit of context. Now, here in Puerto Rico, it's mandatory for us to have English classes all the way from preschool to college, meaning that I have been having English classes every year of my student years, all the way from preschool to college. Now, when you go to college, depending on your degree and also in which institution you are, this can vary, but at least in mine, we needed 15 credits in languages. And of those 15, at least 3, they needed to be in Spanish and 3 in English. That basically translates to one class. At least one class had to be in Spanish, one had to be English, and the rest of them, they could be another language or Spanish and English. So what I did is that I took 2 Spanish classes, I took 3 English classes, and then I took 2 electives in English. So I took a lot. I took film and literature. That what we had to do in that class was basically what I'm doing now. That is watching, analyzing, and reviewing films. We learn about the history of cinema and the different genres. For horror, we had to watch The Others. That is an excellent film. I was so excited since I had seen it before, of course. I took writing classes and science fiction, goth, and mystery literature. I took 3 classes, focuses on each individual genre. That helped me a lot, especially with the writing and with analyzing what I'm reading and also what I'm watching. I loved those classes. They help a lot with my level of English. Since all of them, they were advanced English. I never took the basic English, since here, instead of taking the SAT, we take what is called the College Board. And we are tests on Spanish, math, English, and analytic. And there's another one that I do not remember, but it's very easy. And I ended up having a high score. I had a high score in general, but on English, it was a very high score, meaning that when I went to college, I didn't need to take a basic English class. So I went straight to advanced English and helped a ton. So that's a huge part on how I learn English, because I have been exposed to it ever since I am a child, but I improve my knowledge on the language by myself watching films in English, not just horror. I watch plenty of other stuff, but mostly is horror, but also music and books. That helps a ton with any language in general, since here the classes in English is, if you're not taking advanced English, to learn the basics. And since it's so repetitive, we take some of it. But if you want to be fluent on the language, you need to go outside of the school and learn by yourself. That is how I do it. So I wasn't really inspired to learn English. I was forced to learn English. I am in my family the most fluent one. I also, my workplace, I work from time to time with tourists, so I need to speak English, but 99% of the time I am talking in Spanish. So this is my only time for me to learn English. And also my roommates, they help a ton, since they are both fluent on the language. They don't even have an accent. Those two, they are amazing. So they help me a lot. I hope that one day I can be very, very good in the language. I'm working most on my pronunciation. But thank you for saying once again that my English is good. I do not see it that way. I was bullied because I didn't know English, since I didn't really understood English until I reached high school. On elementary and middle school, I was awful. I barely understood English, but then of course, I forced myself, and that's how I ended up here. I really hope that answered the question. Now, the next question is, do you have any horror guilty pleasures? Of course I do, and it's watching bad horror movies. Just like everyone, this is something that I have said a lot. There's nothing wrong with watching bad horror movies. If you enjoy them, that's up to you. You shouldn't just be watching good horror movies. There's nothing wrong. And that's my guilty pleasure. Watching bad early 2000s horror movies. Nothing better than sit down, watch one of those, and just relax. Because I know that it's going to be bad, but I still enjoy it. Now I'm going to be concluding with the last 3 questions that they came from Instagram. The question is, do you have a horror film that unlocked a fear you had never had before? Yeah, I do. Now that film is called Run Turn from 2003. Now that film follows a group of friends that are left stranded deep in the middle of the woods, and as they venture deep into the woods, they face an uncertain and blood-curdling fate. Now, the story of this film takes place in the mountains of West Virginia. I live in the mountains of Puerto Rico, meaning that I am basically exposed to very similar places and isolated roads. Because of this and because of the film, I developed anxiety for isolated roads, and I was very scared of getting stranded in the middle of nowhere. Thankfully, I am over it now, but for a while, I really had that fear because of the film. Now, the second question on the Instagram was my box office expectations from Insidious 5 and The Nun 2. Now, I know that I have it right here, that the budget from Insidious 5 is going to be 10 million. I am expecting the film that is going to make over that, maybe 100 million, maybe. It's a big franchise. We have a lot of people that most likely will be dying to watch this in theaters. Maybe 100. Maybe a little bit less now that I think about it, since it's gonna take a little bit, but since it's on summer, that can help a little bit on the box office. And the second one, that is The Nun. Well, I don't have the budget, but I do know that the first one had a budget of 22 millions and made 365 on the box office, millions on the box office, meaning that since the Conjuring universe is a very commercial franchise and a very commercial film, most likely can do a little bit more than Insidious 5, since for some reason people get so freaked out by these films in the way that they want to run to the theaters and watch them, when in my opinion they aren't that good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking them, but I would rather watch Insidious 5 than The Nun 2. That's for sure. But I am expecting that The Nun will be making way more than Insidious 5, that's for sure. And to end this Q&A, I have F1, Kill 1, Marry 1, Michael, Ghostface, Jason. I'm going to assume that the F is fuck, but I don't feel like none of them, so I'm going to be changing to Kiss, Kill, and Marry. I feel more comfortable with that, so I will kill Jason. I apologize. I'm sorry, he's my favorite slasher killer, but I would kill Jason, I will kiss Michael, and I will marry Ghostface. Yeah, I don't need to search for more. I do not need to think it. That would be, I would kill Jason, I will kiss Michael, and I will marry Ghostface. Just because Ghostface is the most human of three of them, since Jason, of course, that is so far from being human, and I will not kiss that. I'll marry, hell no. Michael, he is so damn out of his mind. Just a little kiss and that will be fine. And Ghostface, I can deal with that. But with that, we end the Q&A. If you have another question, you can leave it on the comments. I will answer. I have no problem with that. But well, I think that this has been all. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, for leaving comments, liking, maybe sharing. I don't know if people share my video somewhere, for being subscribed. It really means a lot for me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video.
Ghosts are real. That much I know.